She walks alone, not by choice, but by the quiet verdict of a world that fails to see, not by some dramatic exile, nor by some spoken decree, but by the slow, silent turning of heads, the polite dismissals, the unanswered messages, the absence of invitations. It is not that she pushed others away, it is that they never truly reached out. She passes through halls, offices, sanctuaries, markets, surrounded yet untouched. Like the barren fig tree, she stands among the fruitful, the celebrated, the included, but bears no fruit of companionship. Not because she is barren in spirit, but because no one dared to come close enough, long enough to know what treasures lay within. They see her silhouette, but not her soul. They hear her voice, but not her cry. There are others who bask in the light of friendship, laughter echoing like a chorus around them, and yet she drifts in a kind of shadow, not of her own making. The world moves quickly, too quickly for quiet hearts, for those whose language is stillness, depth, sincerity. The surface charms win the day, but she was made for deeper waters. And so the world, which values speed over depth and charisma over character, overlooks her, not with cruelty, but with indifference. Perhaps a colder wound still, but in her solitude, something begins to stir. In the silence, she begins to hear a voice not of man, but of something beyond. It is the same voice that called to Elijah, not in the whirlwind, not in the fire, not in the earthquake, but in the still, small whisper. The voice that requires quiet to be heard, the voice that waits for the crowd to pass before speaking. She begins to recognize that what others see as emptiness is, in fact, space for something holy, something sacred. The silence she endures becomes the womb of transformation. While others are distracted by noise, by approval, by applause, she is brought into the inner chamber, the holy of holies. It is there that she begins to realize this loneliness is not a curse, but a calling. She is not abandoned, she is hidden, set apart, like Moses in the cleft of the rock, where only those drawn by divine fire can go. She was never meant to blend in, she was always meant to carry something others couldn't yet understand. She walks alone, yes, but in her solitude she walks with angels. In her silence she communes with eternity. And in her rejection she finds the embrace of the one who was also despised and rejected by men. She is no longer merely a woman with no friends. She is a sanctuary in the wilderness, a flame in the night, a vessel of the unseen. And what the world called loneliness, heaven called invitation. She is a parable, a living message written not with words, but with her very life, a vessel carrying the mystery of divine presence in the midst of human silence. She does not stand in pulpits, nor is she surrounded by a circle of admirers, but her existence itself speaks. She walks through this world quietly, unseen by many, misunderstood by most. Yet the heavens look upon her with a gaze of deep knowing, for she carries within her the sacred paradox, the hidden nearness of God in the absence of human closeness. Like the woman at the well, she comes alone. There is no crowd, no companion beside her. She draws water not with laughter and company, but in the stillness of her own thoughts. Yet it is in this very solitude that something divine happens. For it was when the woman at the well came alone that she encountered the Messiah. No one else was there to witness it, no friend to testify, no follower to affirm it, only her and the one who saw everything she ever did and still spoke to her with kindness. Likewise, the woman with no friends may be nearer to the heart of God than she realizes. In the absence of others, she makes room for the one who truly sees her. In a world that celebrates popularity and praises connection, she seems out of place. She is not chosen, not invited, not welcomed into the inner circles. But what the world sees as rejection, heaven sees as an opening. While others are distracted by shallow fellowship, she has the space to enter a deeper communion. The world's rejection becomes heaven's embrace. She learns to listen not for the noise of approval, but for the quiet breath of the Spirit. What seemed like emptiness is, in truth, sacred space. space where God speaks, where truth whispers, where identity is restored. And in that holy silence, revelation begins. She comes to see herself not through the mirror of others' opinions, but through the gaze of the eternal. She is not lacking, she is chosen. She is not unwanted, she is being prepared. Her isolation becomes a wilderness, and just like the wilderness where John the Baptist heard the voice of God, she too hears it, not because she was surrounded, but because she was alone. What others avoid becomes her place of meeting. She is a parable written by heaven, a picture of divine pursuit, of hidden worth, of sacred encounter. Her life challenges the assumptions of the world, proving that connection does not always look like community, and that being seen by God is greater than being seen by man. When the world moves on, she remains in the quiet, and in that quiet she is transformed. What seemed like isolation becomes revelation. What seemed like absence becomes presence. She is not forgotten. She is found, found in the stillness, found in the silence, found in the arms of the one who never turns away. Her story is not one of absence, but of sacred hiddenness. To the untrained eye, she seems forgotten, left behind, perhaps invisible, but heaven sees differently. Just as Moses was hidden in the cleft of the rock, so he could behold the glory of God without being consumed, so she too has been hidden, not cast away, but protected, set apart for something deeper. The silence surrounding her is not emptiness, it is reverence. The solitude she endures is not punishment, it is preparation. For the deepest works of God are often done in the secret places, away from the gaze of the crowd, behind the veil. She is not absent from the world, but woven into it in a way that few notice. She is the whisper in the chaos, the stillness in the storm. The world, loud and hurried, rushes past her, looking for the next spectacle, the next performance, the next voice to shout above the noise. But God is not always in the whirlwind. More often, he is found in the hidden things, in the seed beneath the soil, in the oil pressed in secret, in the wilderness where prophets are formed. And so, in his wisdom, he allows her to be hidden. Hidden not because she lacks value, but because her value is too sacred to be exposed carelessly. The world celebrates the scene, the spotlight, the stage, but heaven moves through the unnoticed. The greatest miracles were born in hidden places, in a manger, in a tomb, in a quiet garden where blood fell like sweat. And so her life, too, becomes a hidden place, a chamber where God speaks, where mysteries unfold. She walks through her days like a temple veiled, bearing truths that are not broadcast, but carried. Her loneliness becomes the altar upon which deeper truths are written, not in ink, which fades, but in fire, which purifies. Every silent night she has spent, every unanswered call, every lonely walk, these have not been in vain. They have been the carving of a vessel. The fire has not come to destroy, but to refine. And as gold is hidden in the earth before it is brought to light, so her story is hidden in the heart of God, waiting for its appointed time. Those around her may not see it. They may assume she has nothing to offer. But heaven knows, heaven remembers, heaven watches. She is not forgotten. She is sanctified. In her quiet suffering, she bears a beauty the world cannot explain. And when the time is right, when the fire has finished its work, what was hidden will be revealed. And the world will see not just her, but the glory of the one who is shaping her all along. Her hiddenness will be her strength, and her story will not be one of absence, but of glory unveiled in due time. So in the end, the woman with no friends is not a figure of pity, but a portrait of hidden strength and divine purpose. Her solitude is not a sentence, it is a sanctuary. While the world rushes past her, seeking validation in the eyes of others, she discovers something infinitely deeper, the unwavering gaze of God. In her silence, she hears him. In her isolation, she finds revelation. Her story reminds us that heaven often chooses the overlooked to carry the eternal, and that what the world calls emptiness, God often calls holy ground. May we learn to see as heaven sees. May we not measure a life by its outward connections, but by its inward communion with the one who never leaves nor forsakes. And may those who walk alone know They are never truly alone. Thank you.